Alright, today's manual, operator's manual for the OK4616, OK4630, OK4635, OK4625, OK4740, OK40, DSK 4530, the Vapor Klarskin Steam Generator, bullet number 1, 208, revision B, Vapor Heating Corporation, Railway Exchange, Chicago. Alright, 2. Air solenoid valve is used for the DSK model instead of the air switch 101 shown on the OK models. On DSK models, unit steam temperature limits. The On DSK, unit steam temperature limit control 110 located at the top of the coils instead of the bottom as shown with the OK steam generator. This text is between point of difference where they exist. Color chart 3 is UGB for the OK4740 type steam generator without standby operation. Operation of the OK4740 steam generator is similar to those of the OK model for these exemptions. 1. The main switch 118 is mounted on the steam generator. The two line circuit breakers 116 and 117 on the rotary converter circuit breaker 115 instead of replacing replaceable fuses. A motor 215 and a rotary converter to the 237 are used instead of a single motor converter. A worn drive assembly 236 is used instead of pulleys or belts. Warm drive. Steam temperature limited, but the control 110 has a manual reset button 110A. This must be pushed when the high temperature contacts with the control has shut down the steam generator. Your top picture going from counterclockwise from steam gauges. Steam gauges, fuel gauge, water flow indicator, control switch, water bypass regulator, manual water 3 bypass valve, water test valve, coil blowdown valve, fuel filter suction line, steam trap, separator blowdown valve, air pressure regulator, steam separator. The bottom drawing, fuel from the left, counterclockwise, fuel solenoid valve, fuel spray head, stack switch, belt tension adjuster, inspection panel, water pump, water relief valve, fuel pressure regulator, fuel filter pressure line, fuel test valve, servo control, stop and check, safety valve, spark plugs. This is the figure 1 OK4625 steam generator. Alright, at your top left, starting from the left and counterclockwise, your stack switch, air pressure regulator, fuel filter line, suction line, fuel filter on the suction line, water pressure gauge, cutoff shut-off valve, cool blowdown valve, steam trap, radiation, heat exchanger, water test pump valve, water pump test valve, fuel pressure, steam pressure, fuel pump, spark plugs. Now just below that, the figure 2 OK4630 and OK4635 steam generator. Starting from the left and counterclockwise, transformer, return water flow indicator, water bypass regulator, servo flow controller, fuel filter pressure line, water strainer manifold, water pump, radiation, steam temperature limited control, steam separator, steam trap, belt tension adjusters, generator steam pressure, safety valve, fuel spray head, and fuel solenoid valve. Alright, starting from the top, fuel solenoid on the top right corner. Fuel solenoid, fuel spray head, stack switch, main switch, control cabinet, coil shutoff valve, coil blowdown valve, steam temperature limit control, fuel pump, atomizing air shutoff fuel filter suction line, water pump test valve, water pump, manual water bypass valve, field test valve, water bypass regulator, water flow indicator, servo fuel control, rotary converter housing, damper. Are the bottom low in the right hand corner, the OK4740 steam generator. From the left, counterclockwise, control switch, train line pressure gauge, generator pressure gauge, low pressure gauge, air switch, fuel filter, DMR drive, oil filter, air pressure regulation, fuel pressure regulator, 25 pounds. Fuel solenoid bypass valve, separator blowdown valve, steam generator, steam separation, No, steam separator, steam trap, heat exchange, layover connection shutoff valve, standby admission valve, steam valve and water bypass regulator, safety valve, stop and check valve, and three-way washout valve. Alright, operation is completely automatic after the steam generator is started. The full operation steam pressure is reached within a few minutes. The steam generator part of the unit consists of a set of coiled water tubing nested and connected in series form a signal tube survey several hundred feet long, water and pumped into the cool inlet and converted into steam, progressing through the coil. Heat is furnished with the combustion of the diesel fuel oil, which sprayed in compressed air throughout the atomizing nozzle in the fuel spray of head 105 the fire pot above the coil. The fine oil spray mixed with the air supply with the blower 202 is connected with a continuous electric spark 220. The fire and hot gas flow is first downward and outward with through the nest of coils. Supply of the fuel is regulated to evaporates in 90% to 95% with the water pump through the coils. The excessive water fin luscious scale sludge of the coils and is carried over the steam in the steam separator 221. Where the water and sludge is removed from the steam flow to the train line, the excess water collects from the bottom of the steam separator. Water above the level of the return outlet flows through the steam trap 223 through the heat exchanger 213, where it gives up the heat incoming feed water from the heat exchanger with the return water flow back to the water supply tank 232. Alright, the motor 215 drive the blower 202 with the water pump 230 and the fuel pump 209 at a constant speed. The water bypass regulator 111 automatically controls the steam generator output by regulating the amount of water fed to the coils. Before entering the coils, the water passes through the servo control at 108, which emits fuel spray in the direct portion of the amount of water entering the coils. The servo fuel control also adjusts the damper of 203 to emit the proper amount of air efficiency combustion of the fuel. The train line steam pressure rater is regulated and adjusted with a hand wheel. The water bypass regulated with the length of the train. What other conditions determine the setting? Alright, before starting, the OK mount for the valve designated with the odd numbers, but most must be open during the normal operation. Steam generator valves designed with the even numbers must be closed. During the normal operation, steam generator normally open valves are fitted with a cross-type handle. The normally closed valves are fitted with a standard round head handle. The designation applies only to the OK steam generators. The following valves must be opened during the normal operation for the steam generator. 1. The atomizing air shutoff valve. 2, 3. The coil shutoff valve. 7. The remote control train line shutoff valve. 7A. The reset lever. 9. The return water outlet valve. 11. The steam admission valve of the train line pressure gauge. 13. The steam admission valve of the water bypass regulator. 15. The stop and check valve closing during the start and shutting down procedures. 17, the three-way washout valve. 19, the water bypass regulator shutoff valve. 21, the water supply stop. The following valves must be closed during normal operation steam generator. 2, the coil blowdown valve switch. 4, the fill test valve. 6, the layover connection shutoff valve. 8, the manual water bypass valve. 10, the steam admission valve with the radiation open in cold weather. 12, the steam separator blowdown valve. 14, the washout inlet valve. 16, the washout inlet valve. 18, the water pump test valve. 20, the water suction drain valve. 22, the water treatment drain valve. And 56, the return line valve standby. Alright, 3. See that both the overload reset button 106 and stack switch 109 are in the overload rest button located within inside of the control panel over the magnetic overload relay. Figure 4 shows the overload reset button. On the OK4740 unit, see that the steam temperature limit control reset button 110A is in. On the OK4740 units, check to see that all the circuit breakers 1115, 1116, and 1117 are closed. Figure 5 shows the stack switch reset button. Figure 6 shows the steam temperature limit control reset button. Figure 7 shows the circuit breakers OK4740 model. Alright, to fill, open the atomizing air shutoff valve with 1, fill the test valve 4 latch, open the separator blowdown valve 12. Drain the steam separator with a close the separator blowdown when the separator is completely drained. Close the main switch on the OK4740 unit. The main switch 118 is the steam generator, and turn the control switch 102 fill. While the coils are filling, see that the spark 220 is available for the ignition. Check all the valves. 4. When the water discharge from the fill test valve 4, turn the control switch 102 to the off and close the fill test valve. Note that if the coils are empty, it will take about 5 minutes to fill the steam generator with water. Figure 8 shows the steam separator OK4630 model. From the top, you have stop and check valve, return water level valve, radiation shutoff valve, and the fill test valve and the separator blowdown valve. On OK4740 steam generators equipped with a standby protection on all 4740 units shipped with the CD number 101751, the servo fuel control 108 will move only 1/3 maximum travel. Alright, to start, do not start the steam manager unless the coils are filled. Latch the open separator below down 12 to turn the control switch 102 through the run. For the easy starting, be sure the control has been on the off long enough for the motor to come to a full stop. 2. Close the separator blowdown valve with the generator steam pressure gauge at 212, registering at 100 pounds. Open the separate blowdown valve several times after the 3 to 5 second intervals during the few minutes of the separation. Set the water bypass regulator 11011 if required. The train line pressure gauge 224. After the train line is coupled, open the remote control train line shutoff valve by pressing the reset lever 7A. The opening and stopping the check valve 15 gradually. Note that check the return water valve after the flow of the separator steam generator has settled down. The steady output with the return water flow indicator 218 shows the cycle of 4 to 12 times a minute. Figure 9 shows the return water flow indicator. 2. The steam generator does not function properly. Check all the valves to see that they are open, closed, and indicating in the schematic piping drawings before starting instruction. The steam generator should come up with the following full operation pressure in about 2 to 5 minutes. It may take 10 to 15 minutes to build up if they require operating steam pressure in the train line. Are your standby. During freezing weather, steam generators equipped with this protective feature operated with a standby position when the locomotive with the freight surface is in the standby. Warm water, not steam, is circulated through the system to prevent damage from the steam generator, water tanks, and piping. Figure 10 shows the control switch standby position. 1. Follow the normal fill and start procedures outlined. Set the water bypass regulator 111 to the maximum pressure. 3. Close the stop and check valve 15. 4. Open the return line valve stand 56. Make sure the steam admission valve with the radiation 10 is open. 5. To control the switch 102 to standby. Caution to prevent loss of water while in standby. Make sure the following valves are not open. 2. The coil blowdown. 12. The separator blowdown. And 15. The stop check valve. To return the passenger operation from standby, close the return line valve, standby 56. For normal procedure, steam start the steam generator outlined above. Note, be sure to open the separator blowdown valve several times at 3 to 5 second intervals during the first few minutes of the operation. Figure 11 shows the return line valve standby. Running attention, open the separator down valve 12 to 5 seconds at least once every hour, except when in standby operation. During the stop, turn the handle in the fuel filter 206 at the same time to turn the handle with the treatment injection filter 225. Where this is a method of water treatment is used. Figure 12 shows the fuel filter handle. Alright, to shut down the steam generator. For short stops, it's necessary only to close the stop and the check valve 15, but the fire will cycle off and on and maintain operation pressure in the steam generator. For terminal stop proceed as follows. Press the remote control train line shutoff valve button and close the stop and check valve 15. Set the water bypass regulator 111 to the maximum output. When the generator steam pressure gauge is 212 registers at 200 pounds, turn the control switch 102 to off. Open the coil blowdown valve 2 with the water regulator pressure drops to 75 pounds. Close the valve. 4. Open the separator blowdown valve and blowdown steam separator 221. With the remaining pressure, close the separator blowdown valve. Fill the coils with water. Close the atomizing air shutoff valve. Open the main switch. Note, when the starting do not omit draining the steam separator with the opening the first fill test valve. Again, will fill with the steam generator with water. If the coils are already full, it will only take a moment for the water to discharge from the fill test valve. Freezing water precautions. Inlet valve number 10 and the radiation 217 should be open when operating during severe weather. If the locomotive is multiple installation does not have all of its steam generators operation. Open the layer valve 6 and inlet valve 10 with the radiation ideal steam generator. Be sure the separate blowdown valve 12 with the cool blowing valve with the 2 are closed. If a locomotive left standing outside with the separate with one with the steam generators to make the connection with the yard steam line, make a certain layer of the valve 6 inlet valve 10 with the radiation open. And no steam is at all is available through the thoroughly drain the steam generator. Open the drain valve 20 and 22 with the water pump test valve 20, 18, the blowdown valve 2, separator blowdown valve 12, and the cool shutoff valve with the brake pipe connections when necessary to complete the drain piping. Turn off the water pump handle to clear if the water blow Turn up the water pump and handle it clear if of the water. Blow it out with compressed air. Remove the cover with the water treatment and water strainer tank 234. Make sure it is drained. For DSK and early model OK units, where valve 6 emits the steam to the top separator instead of the inlet side with the coil, open the coil blowdown valve layer over the valve 6 inlet valve 10 radiation side idle units. Caution layer with the valve must be closed with the train line shut-off valve and closed with the multiple train line. Caution on every early mode units having the valve 28 with the steam valve is feeding of the valves 10 and 6 may be closed with the valve 28 is not open before the uncoupling train for any reason. Troubleshooting. If one of the protective switches magnetic overload relay blowdown switch stack, which is higher temperature contacts, low temperature contacts, outfire with relay, air cut, and switch controls, and 474 units. Steam temperature limits control the high contacts. 2 control circuit breakers operates the shutdown steam generator. The alarm will ring. The boiler off signal will flash. Turn the control switch 1 on 2 to the off. Use the following instructions as a guide located in trouble. Alright, 1. If you're blowing fuses for the OK series, except for the 474 and the DSK series, the alarm will not ring and the instrumental lights will go out, and the main fuse of the circuit breaker is generally located with the low voltage cabinet of the locomotive. Check this fuse to check the control fuse and then the steam generator control cabinet. The OK series, except for the 4740 steam generators, has test amp. The fuel fuse clips were inside of the control cabinet. Use the fuel test clip with the test lamps to check the fuses. Open circuit breaker OK 4740 series only. The alarm rings and instrumental light goes out, and the circuit breaker if the circuit breakers are open, if the main fuse of the circuit breaker is out, the alarm will not ring. Reset and start as usual. 2. Overload reset button 106 out. The alarm will ring with the instrumental light, but will remain the term of the control switch 102 with the check hot blower 202 water pump 230 bearings overheated with the fuel pump with the proper poorly adjusted pulley belts on 4740 units. Check the overheated gear drive assembly. On OK units, except for the 474, check the setting of the belt tension adjuster. Push the overload reset button in. Alright, 3. Slack and switch 109 reset button with the OK series, except for the 4740 and the DSK series. The high temperature contact of the stack of the switch are open. The alarm will ring and the instrument light will remain on. Turn the control switch 102 to the off. Open the separator blowdown valve with the 12. Drain the steam separator 221. Close the separator blow. Figure 14 shows the stack switch when the reset button. Alright, down the valve, push the stock switch into the reset button, refill the coils with water, then start with the steam generator stack with its switch 109 reset button, OK for OK. Reset button out with the OK 4740 series only. Alarm rings, instrumental lights remains on. Open the separator blowdown valve 12. Turn the control switch 102 to the fill. When the water begins to flow with the valve, turn the control switch off. Close the valve and push in the stack in which switch reset the button and restart the steam generator. 4. Coil blowdown valve 2 partially only. Alarm rings, instrumental light remains on to control the switch 102 off. Be sure the locking pin of the cool blowdown valve handling properly seated in closed position and restart the usual manner. 5. Steam temperature limit control 110 reset button out. OK 4740 series only. Alarm rings, instrumental lights remain on. Open separator blowdown valve 12 and turn control switch to fill. When the water begins to discharge with the open valve, turn the control switch off. Close the valve, push the reset button, start as usual. 6. The air switch 101 contacts the OK47 and 40 series only. Alarm rings, instrumental light remains on. Turn the control switch 102 off. Be sure the emission of the valve is open. Clean the strainer of the screen of atomizing air and the drain air pressure regulator 100. If the low atomizing air pressure persists, tighten the adjusting screw at the top of the air pressure regulator to increase the pressure. When the air pressure is restored, start the steam generator as usual. Alright, motor starts burnt but does not. Motor starts but burner does not. The fire fails to the low temperature contact with the stack switch 109 will not close after the 45-second time delay. The outer fire relay will open the circuit breaker, shut down the steam generator. The alarm will ring. The instrument lights will remain on. Turn on the control switch will off. Check the following list for the possible causes of the burner failure. 1. Ignition failure. No spark visible from the peep sight, but the glass of the spark is low intensity. Be sure that the spark plug electrodes are cleaned correctly of the space. Check the ignition fuse of the OK series except the 474s and use the test lamp clips installed with the control cabinet for the purpose. Check the rotary converter with the circuit breaker 111.5 OK 4740 series only, which may open with the reset to close. Tighten the loose cable connections related. Replace the shaft and broken wire which may be breaking or ground circuit. Low atomizing air pressure 201 OK series, except for 474 and the DSK series. The air switch 101 of the OK units open with the brake of the circuit breaker, the full solenoid valve 104 of the stop of the fuel flow of the spray head 105. On the DSK units, the low air pressure will fail with the lift of the diaphragm and the fuel sprayed 105 head. Need valve remains closed, prevents the emission of fuel into the fire pot. Be sure to emit air admission valve with this fully open. Clean the strainer screen, atomizing the line, and draining atomizing air pressure 100. The low atomizing air pressure persists. Tighten the adjusting screw with the top of the air pressure regulator with increase the atomizing pressure. Alright, 3. Low fuel manifold pressure 208. Turn the handle with the suction line with the fuel filter at 206 several times. The light suction leak may cause the manifold pressure to build up slowly. Putting the control switch 102 in the fills bleed with the fuel line. Bring the manifold pressure up to normal. Low fuel pressure, nozzle pressure, lack of the water caused with the servo meter. Fuel control 108 to limit the supply of the fuel entering nozzle. If the water supply is almost completely stopped, cam plate may be broken. Come down enough to actuate the cutout switch for the servo and close the fuel solenoid valve 104. Be sure that the pump belts not on the 474 units have the proper tension. The water pump test valve of the 18 is closed with the cover. The water treatment and the strainer in the tank 234 is tight, and the three-way washout valve 17 is fully open, and the drain valve 20 and 22 are tightly closed. Open the close and water the bypass regulator, adjusting the handle several times. The free regulator with a possible segment if the water pressure gauge at the 229. If the regulator is low, close the water bypass regulator. Shut off valve 19. The closed water by the pass line permits all the feed water to flow in the servo fuel control 108. The steam generator will start at once if the bypass regulator is causing the trouble. Set manually regulate the train line's steam pressure, adjusting the manual water bypass valve 8. High feed water temperature leaking. Water line connections may be caused with the water pump 230 to become air vapor bound. The violent fluctuation of the servo fuel control 108. Water pressure gauge needle indicates the condition. Tighten the leaky water line connections. Bleed on the line opening with water pump test 18. Allow the water to flow through the valve until no air vapor bubbles are evident in the water. Alright, irregular train pressure. 1. Burn the cycles off and insufficient water delivery causes the steam generator to run in superheat. The steam temperature limit control 110 operates to protect the coils against overheating. Safety valve 2. Safety valve blows. Shut down the steam generator, lower the train line pressure setting with the adjusting of the handle with the water bypass regulator 111. Start the steam generator again. If the safety valve 107 continues to pop, close with the water bypass regulator. Shut valve 19 and normally regulate the train line pressure, opening, adjusting the manual water bypass valve 8. Note that on the OK 4740 series, a repeating cycle which would cause superheating may cut out the high temperature contact steam temperature limit control, shutting down generator sound alarm. Remote control equipment. Remote controls are located on the fireman side with the locomotive cab, push button switches operating the separate blowdown valve 12 and the remote control train line shutoff valve 7. The remote control train line shutoff valve 7 can be closed from the cab and must be opened manually. However, with the press reset lever 7A on the train line shutoff valve 7, the position marked open. Items to report. Faulty operation with the steam generator for any reason such as discharge with the water relief valve 112, excessive stack temperature, fluctuation of fuel manifold pressure, frequent cycling of the burner, water flow indicator not cycling, and water bypass regulator inoperative, insufficient steam output. Alright, and then we move on to chart 1. Alright. Let's read the side page first, Alright, chart 1, the key identification symbols for the schematic piping diagram. The valves designated with the odd numbers are fitted for the cross-type handles and must be opened during the normal operation of the steam generator. Valves designated with round handles or must be closed during normal operation of the steam generator. This applies only to the OK steam generator. The following valves must be closed during the normal operation of the steam generator: coil, blowdown valve, switch, field test valve, layer over the connection shutoff valve. 8, manual water bypass valve. 10, steam admission valve with the radiation open and cold weather. 12, steam separator blowdown valve. 14, water washout inlet valve. 16, washout inlet valve. 18, water pump test valve. 20, water suction pump drain valve. 22, water pump treatment tank drain valve. 55, return line valve standby. The following valves must be opened during normal operation for the steam generator: atomizing air shutoff valve, coil shutoff valve. 7, remote control train line shutoff valve. 7A, reset lever. 9, return water outlet valve. 11, steam admission valve with the train line pressure. 13, steam admission valve with the water bypass regulator. 15, stop check valve closed and during the starting and the shutdown procedure. 3-way washout valve. 19, water bypass regulator shutoff valve. 21, water supply shutoff valves. Alright, your 100 series is your controls. 100, the atomizing air pressure regulator. 101, the atomizing air switch. Number 102, can add a control switch. Number 103, fuel pressure regulator. Continuing with controls: 104, fuel solenoid valve. 105, fuel spray head. 106, overload reset button motor. 107, safety valves. 108, servo control and switch. 109, stack switch. 110, steam temperature limit control. 111, water bypass regulator switch. 112, water pressure relief valve. 120, aquastat standby. 121, relief valve standby. 122, fuel bypass standby valve. Prudency number 200, prudencies 200, atomizing air strainer. 201, atomizing air pressure gauge. 202, blower. 203, damper. 204, fuel filter pressure line. 206, fuel filter suction line. 207, fuel nozzle pressure gauge. 208, fuel pressure gauge at the fuel pressure regulator. 209, fuel pump. 210, fuel strainer. 211, fuel tank. 212, generator steam pressure gauge. 213, heat exchanger. 214, heat ignition transfer. 215, motor converter. 216, open filter cap. 217, radiation. 218, water temp flow indicator. 219, return water strainer. 220, spark plugs. 221, steam separator. 222, orifice nipple radiation. 223, stream trap, return water line. 224, 222.4, train line steam pressure. 22.5, treatment injector. 226, treatment injector gauge. 227, washout solution inlet. 228, washout solution outlet. 229, water pressure gauge. 230, water pump gauge, water pump tank. 232, water tank. 233, water tank treatment injection pump. 234, water treatment tank strainer tank only if injector is used. 235, strainer T. 240, circulating pump standby. Alright, remember that your even numbers are closed when operating, odd numbers are open when operating, and that the close has a round handle and the open has a cross-type handle. Alright, your legend: your light blue feed water, full blue return water, orange steam, and brick red is fuel oil, white is air, green is washout. Alright, your cross your cross handle is open, which means that it's an open when operation, and your shut is like round round drive for normal operation. The double dash line means injector water treatment application. The smaller dash with a large dash, double dash, alternate water bypass return line. Your blue stripe line is standby protection water. Red stripe line is standby protection fuel. All right, let's start in the stop corner. I don't think with fuel tank to 103 is your control. 200 these are your appurtenancies on the red line. Your fuel line going into the servo control from the fuel tank to the servo fuel control, hitting a gauge and a control valve. 103. Your fuel pressure regulator. Alright, then 103 is your fuel pressure regulator. 208 is gauge. 206. Alright, 206 to 206 fuel filter. 29 fuel pump. 28 fuel pressure gauge. So you have your fuel pressure, fuel tank, fuel pressure gauge, fuel. What's 103 again? 103 is your control fuel pressure regulator. Going into the servo fuel container, 120 and 122, 204. 204 was 204. 204 is the fuel filter going from the servo fuel filter. Then you have a return line going from a standby protection fuel line. A fuel bypass solenoid valve, an aquastat which takes over the from the servo meter, which the servo meter joins in the servo fuel control, which goes around to the wire bypass regulator, and it keeps going down and down and down and down until it hits a full blue line, which is return water line to the water tank. The water tank goes from the solution tank to the water pump. This is circulated through around the fuel servo control. The water bypass regulator makes steam from the steam. The water line from the servo fuel control travels down, and then it goes through number 213. 213 is your heat exchanger. The heat exchanger goes in there. And there's 17 through a wash valve, which has a orange, green, and blue, orange, green, and blue, orange, green, and blue, orange, green, and blue. Steam, return water, and washout. Well, the one from the servo control goes to the back side of the washout solution inlet, and then joins into the steam generator. At the top, there's a whole bunch of gauges. Shows the steam generator going through with a steam line, making a steam line through the outside of it. Steam line going through back around railway interchange. I might do a video on this, so let's move on. Alright, chart 2. Chart 2. Valve designated odd numbers are fitted with the cross-type handles must be opened during the normal operation. Steam generator valve designed with an even number that are fitted with the same round handles and must be closed during normal operation. So round is closed, cross is open on operation. This applies on the OK series number. The closed round ones are circle are even. Coil blowdown valve, switch, fill test valve, layover connection, shutoff valve, manual water bypass valve, steam admission valve with radiation open in cold weather. 12 steam separator blowdown valve, wash outlet inlet valve, water pump test valve, water suction drain valve, water treatment tank drain valve, return line valve, standby. The following valves are open during the normal operation when they are crosses and they are odd at number. Atomizing air shutoff valve 3, the coil shutoff valve 7, the remote control line shutoff valve 7A, the reset layer 9, the routine water outlet valve 11, the steam emission valve with train pressure CH, steam emission valve with water bypass regulator, stop check valve closed during the start and shut down procedure, 3-way washout valve, water bypass regulator, shutoff valve, water supply stop, shutoff valve. Your controls are 101 atomizing air pressure regulator, 100 atomizing air pressure regulator, 101 atomizing air switch, 102 control switch, 103 fuel pressure regulator, 104 fuel solenoid. 105 fuel spray head overload reset button, 106 safety, 107 108 servo control switch, 109 stock switch, 110 steam separator temperature limit control, 111 water bypass regulator, 111 112 water bypass relief valve, 120 aquastat, 121 relief valve standby, 122 fuel bypass solenoid valve. Prudencies 200 atomizing air strainer, 201 atomizing air pressure gauge, 202 blower, 203 damper, the 204 fuel filter, pressure line, 205 fuel filter, servo actuating line, 206 fuel filter, suction line, 207 fuel nozzle pressure gauge, 208 fuel pressure gauge at the fuel pressure regulator, 209 fuel pump, 210 fuel tank strainer, 211 fuel tank, 212 steam generator pressure gauge, 213 heat exchange, 214 the heat ignition transfer, warmer, 215 motor, 216 oil filter cap, 217 radiation, 218 water return flow indicator, 219 water strainer, 220 spark plugs, 221 steam separator, 222A steam trap radiation, 223 steam trap return water line, 224 return line steam pressure gauge, 225 treatment injector filter, 226 the treatment injector gauge, 227 wash solution inlet, 228 wash solution outlet, 229 water pressure gauge, 230 water pump, 232 water tank, 233 water tank inject pump, 234 water tank strainer tank only if the injector system is used, 240 circulating pump and standby. Alright, basically we're on the same drawing. I'm gonna do a video on this, so same thing. Alright, we went over the valves, controls, and prudencies. Alright, now we're going to read the operating instruction. Caution, do not start the steam generator unless the coils are filled. To fill the steam generator, latch the open steam blowdown valve 12 to open the fill test valve. For atomizing the shutter off valve, check the overload reset button, 106 stack, the switch 109 reset button, check the position of all valves. When the steam separator 221 completely drains, close the separator blowdown valve, then close the main switch, turn the control switch 102 to fill, check the ignition spark 220 while the coils are filling, turn the control switch 102 to off while the water is flows from the fill test valve, then close the fill test valve. To start the steam generator, after the motor has been stopped, open the separator blowdown valve 12, turn the control switch 102 to run. Fire the switch should be immediately closed the separator blowdown valve 12 when the generator steam pressure gauge 112 registers at 100 pounds. Blow down the steam generator. Blow down the steam separator 221 several times for the 3-5 second intervals during the first few minutes of the operation. Set the water bypass regulator valve, regulator 111, acquire train line pressure gauge at 224. After the train line is coupled, to open the automatic train line shut-off valve 7 to depressing the latch at 7A. Then open the top stop check valve 215 follow the normal fill start. Procedures outlined above. Set the water bypass regulator for the maximum pressure. Close the stop and check valve 15. Open the return line valve with the standby 56. Makes the steam emission valve with the radiation 10 is open. To control the switch 102 standby. Turn the return to the passenger operation by standby. Close the return line valve standby 56. Follow the normal procedures to start the steam generator outlined above. Running attention. Blow down the steam separator 221 at least once every hour, except for when standby operation during the stops. Turn handles on the suction line, fuel filter 206, and turn handle and treatment injector. Filter 225 with the injector method of water treatment is used to shut down the steam generator for the shut stops necessary only to close the stop and check valve 15. The fire cycle off and maintain operating pressure in the steam generator for the terminal stops. Proceed as follows. Press the train line shut-off valve on the remote control panel with the close the top and check valve with the C. The water bypass regulator 111. Maximum output build with the generator pressure 200 pounds. Turn the control switch 102 with the open coil blowdown valve 2. The generator pressure drop 75 pounds. Close the coil blowdown valve. Open the separator blowdown valve 12. After the steam generator is completely drained, close the valve. Refill the coils, then turn the control switch 102 off. Close the atomizing air valve, and open the main switch. Alright, your layover. Open the steam emission valve 10 and open the layover connection shutoff valve 10. Vapor Heating Railway Corporation, Chicago. Alright, and this is your OK 462 diagram. There's no legend to that. And that completes the operator's manual for the OK 4616, OK 4630, OK 4635, OK 4625, OK 467, 4740, DSK 4530, Vapor Clarkson Steam Generator, Bulletin number 1208, Revision B.